Once upon a time, there lived a rich man whose wife had passed away many years ago and left behind a daughter. The girl was so beautiful, charming, and gentle that everyone loved her. One day, the father took another wife, a woman with 2 daughters. These girls were beautiful to look at, but in their hearts, they were evil.
My dear, I have a surprise for you. Here is your stepmother and stepsisters. We will live together from now on.
Come here with me, daughter. What a lovely girl. Good morning. Huh, the house looks nice enough. From that day on, the daughter lived an unhappy life. She had to serve the stepmother and stepsisters, who took all her beautiful clothes, gave her only old rags and wooden shoes, and put her in the kitchen. Day by day, she had to do all the chores of the house, from early morning until night. She was not allowed to sleep in a bed. Instead, she had to lie down next to the fireplace in the ashes. Her face and clothes were always dirty with cinder and ashes. That's why the 2 stepsisters called her Cinderella. The father one day went to the market and asked his daughters what presents they wanted. The stepsisters asked for nice dresses and jewels, while Cinderella only asked for the branch that struck his hat. On his way home, a branch of a chestnut tree struck the father's hat, so he brought it home for Cinderella. The girl thanked her dad. She planted it beside her mother's grave and wept bitterly. Her tears made the branch very wet. Its buds and shoots burst out and soon grew into a large tree. Cinderella visited her mother's grave every day, and there was a white bird settling on the branch every time. Whenever Cinderella asked for something, the bird would give it to her. Mom, I miss you so much. Mom, I miss you so much. One day, the king held a 3-day ball and invited every beautiful young woman in the kingdom. There, his son, the prince, would choose a wife for himself. The 2 stepsisters were invited too. They were very excited. They asked Cinderella to comb their hair, prepare beautiful clothes for them, and tighten their laces. After doing all the housework, Cinderella asked if she could go to the ball. But the trio made fun of her. "A dirty girl, Cinderella! How dare you attend the royal ball in your rags?" Then the stepmother threw a basin of peas into the ash heap and said, "If you can get every pea picked out of the ashes in an hour's time, I will let you go." "I have done all the housework. Please let me go with you." "Huh, lazy. If you get every pea picked out of the ashes, I will let you go." "You can't dance. If you go there, you will only put us to shame." "Huh, how can you afford to have a beautiful dress for the ball? What a dirty girl." The stepmother and her arrogant daughters left in a hurry. Cinderella ran away to the garden and sang out, "O gentle doves, O turtle doves, and all the birds that be, the peas that in ashes lie, come and pick up for me. The good must be put in the dish, the bad you may eat if you wish." Immediately, a great number of little birds came to the ash heap and commenced to pick, pick, pick. The birds sorted the peas in less than an hour. "Oh, it's tasty." Hey, hurry up! Come here! These peas taste better. Little birds, please come here and help me sort these peas. Thank you so much! But Cinderella didn't have clothes to go to the ball. What should she do? She went to her mother's grave, sat under the chestnut tree, and called out, shake yourself, little tree! Throw some nice clothing down to me!" Instantly, the bird gave her a gown embroidered with golden thread and a pair of sparkling glass slippers. She put them on and headed to the ball. shake yourself, little tree! Throw some nice clothing down to me!" Wow! How beautiful it is! Thank you so much, my little bird! Yippee! Let's go to the royal ball! How ill-mannered! We're going to the royal palace, so it's better to be polite. Cinderella went to the ball splendidly dressed, and everybody admired her beauty. The stepmother and her daughters didn't recognize her, thinking that she was a princess from a foreign country. The prince walked towards Cinderella, held her hands, and asked her to dance. He couldn't stay away from Cinderella, and he wanted to dance with no one but her. When anyone asked Cinderella to dance, the prince said, "She is my partner." Where is that beautiful princess from? The prince is crazy about her. Not a problem. There are still 2 nights left. Beautiful girl, can I have the next dance with you? As midnight came, Cinderella said farewell to the prince and left. He offered her a ride home, as he wanted to know who she was. But when they were nearing her house, she eluded him and jumped into the pigeon coop. The prince waited until Cinderella's father came home. He told him about the strange girl who had jumped into the pigeon coop. The father thought,
Is that Cinderella?
"Have you seen a girl in there?"
Prince, there is really nobody here.
On the following evening, Cinderella went to the tree again, shortly after the stepmother and her daughters had gone to the ball. The bird gave her a more magnificent and splendid gown than the previous one. The prince was waiting for her for a long time. When Cinderella arrived, she was so beautiful that nobody could take their eyes off of her. The prince held her hands and danced with only her. Late at night, the prince took Cinderella home. She ran to the garden behind the house and climbed to a pear tree laden with fruits. The prince waited until the father returned home. The father cut the tree down, but he found nobody there. When he came to the kitchen, Cinderella was lying in the ashes as usual. "Look for her carefully. I saw her climb that tree."
Prince, there is really nobody here.
"Where can I find you?" On the 3rd evening, Cinderella looked gorgeous in her magnificent clothes and sparkling glass slippers. Everyone was astounded by her beauty, and the prince couldn't take his eyes off of her. But at midnight, Cinderella made a low curtsy and left in haste again, like on the previous occasions. This time, the prince had the stairway covered with resin. When Cinderella ran down the stairs, one of her slippers got stuck. "Stop! Please don't run away!" Wow, a sparkling slipper! I will certainly find you. The following day, the prince brought the slipper to the house of Cinderella's father and said, "I will marry the girl whose foot this slipper fits." The sisters were glad. The elder tried on the slipper, but it was too short for her. Her mom told her to cut off her big toe, and she obeyed. Biting her teeth together, she cut it off and met the prince. The prince rode away with her. When passing by the grave, a couple of pigeons called out, "Rook-de-goo! Rook-de-goo! There's blood in the shoe! The shoe is too tight! This bride is not right!" The prince looked down and saw the blood streaming from her shoe. He took the false bride back to her house. "How lucky I am! Finally, I have found you!" "Try a little more. When I become the queen, I will never have to go on foot."
"Rook-de-goo! Rook-de-goo! There's blood in the shoe! The shoe is too tight! This bride is not right!"
"How dare you cheat me?" I'm the real bride." Then the second tried on the slipper. Luckily, her toes fit in it, but her heel was too large. So she obeyed her mom and cut part of it off so that the prince would pick her. But when they passed by the grave, the false bride was discovered by the pigeons on the chestnut tree. The prince looked at the slipper and saw the blood streaming from it. He instantly took her back. "My goodness, why did you come back?" Mom, my foot, it hurts."
What happened? What did you do with her?"
"This is not the true bride. How dare you cheat me? You're disrespectful to me." The prince asked if there was another daughter in the house. The father answered there was only Cinderella, but she could not be the bride. However, the prince insisted Cinderella try on the shoe. She made a low bow to the prince, pulled the heavy shoe from her foot, and tried on the nice glass slipper. The shoe fit perfectly. When Cinderella lifted her head up, the prince recognized her as the beautiful princess who had danced with him. He cried out, "This is the right bride!" "Hey girl, try it on." "This girl is very dirty. She will make a muck of your shoes." "Oh, it's you! Finally, I have found you!" The prince took Cinderella behind him upon his horse. When they passed by the chestnut tree, the pigeons cried out, "Rook-de-goo! Rook-de-goo! No blood's in the shoe! The shoe's not too tight! This bride is right!" The prince and Cinderella's lavish wedding ceremony was held a short time later. From then on, Cinderella lived happily ever after. That's the end of my story. Isn't Cinderella kind, hardworking, and lucky? Lazy and wicked people, like the stepmother and the two daughters, will get an unhappy ending. So, you should always be good and polite children who study hard and help your parents and grandparents so that everyone loves you. Goodbye, and see you again.
There was a peasant who was working very hard in his field. When it got dark, he was ready to go home. At that moment, he saw a pile of burning coals in the middle of his field. "How strange it is! Why is there a pile of burning coals in my field?" The peasant became very astonished. Walking toward it, he saw a little
Hello,
black devil
I'm a
sitting
black
on
devil.
top of the glowing coals.
Ah, it's a short black devil. How ugly he is.
Turns out the devil was actually sitting on a treasure. The peasant said,
The treasure is in my field and belongs to me.
It is yours,
answered the devil.
if for 2 years you give me 1/2 of everything your field produces.
Okay,
Said the peasant.
to prevent any dispute about the division, everything above the ground will belong to you, and everything beneath the ground to me.
The devil was satisfied with that, and he agreed.
It is yours, if for 2 years you give me 1/2 of everything your field produces.
Okay, to make it easy to divide, I'll take everything beneath the ground, and you'll take everything above the ground. What do you think about it?
Okay.
The clever peasant planted turnips for his first crop. When time for harvest came, the devil appeared and wanted to take away his crop. However, he found nothing except the yellow, withered leaves. Meanwhile, the happy peasant was digging up his fresh turnips. The devil angrily shouted,
You got the best of me this time, but it won't happen again. Next time what grows above ground will be yours, and what is under it will be mine.
The peasant agreed.
Ah, what a bumper crop of turnips I have! The turnips are so big and fresh. They must taste good.
Oh, it's so bitter. How could I eat a bitter thing like this? No, next crop, I'll take everything beneath the ground, and you'll take everything above the ground.
Okay, I agree with you.
This time, the peasant didn't plant turnips again, but wheat. When the grain became ripe, he went into the field, cut the full stalks down to the ground, and brought them home. When the devil came, he found nothing but stubble. He became very angry, went away in a fury, and fell down into a cleft in the rocks.
Take away your crop!
Oh, it's so tough. How could I eat a tough thing like this?
That's how human beings defeat devils. And our clever peasant, full of delight, went into the field and carried away the treasure. With intelligence and bravery, human beings can get over difficulties and challenges, can't they? So you should study hard and make the most of your time in school by learning all you can so you can do as many good things as possible. Thank you for reading this story. Goodbye, and see you again soon.
What a foolish devil! This treasure now belongs to me!
I'm so angry! Oh, no! Ah!
Hello, kids! You're watching an interactive story app by BH Media. The cat is a beautiful animal, isn't it? It was said that a smart cat helped his poor master become a rich marquis and even marry a beautiful princess. Let's make friends with this special cat through the Grimm Brothers fairy tale, Puss in Boots. Once upon a time, there lived a poor miller who, when he died, left nothing more for his 3 sons than his mill, his donkey, and his cat. The oldest son quickly took the mill, the second the donkey, and the youngest was left with the cat. I'm the oldest, I get the mill. I get the donkey.
Meow meow.
Oh,
Meow.
but... The youngest was quite unhappy. The oldest has the mill to mill flour, and the second has the donkey to carry goods. But what can I do with that poor cat? He muttered to himself. Suddenly, the cat stood up and said to him with a serious tone, "Do not worry yourself, my good master. Give me a big bag and have a pair of boots made for me, and then you will see that I am not as bad an inheritance as you imagine." The youngest was very surprised when he heard this. However, he had often seen the cat play many lever tricks to catch rats and mice, so he agreed. Poor me. All I can do is make myself a muff from his skin, but then I must die of hunger.
Meow meow.
Give me a big bag and have a pair of boots made for me. I'll help you change your life. Oh, you can speak? When the pair of boots was made, the cat booted himself. He then put barley into his bag and threw it over his shoulder. He stepped out on 2 legs and headed to the forest. The cat went to the dense forest, where there was a great many rabbits. He left the top of his bag wide open, held the string, and hid himself in a sheltered spot. After a while, young rabbits started coming near the bag and eating the barley. Some foolish rabbits jumped into his bag. The cat immediately drew the string and caught all of them. Gotcha! The cat then went straight to the king's palace. Making a low bow, he said to the king, "I have brought you, sir, rabbits, which my noble lord, the Marquis of Carabas, has asked me to present to your majesty from him." In truth, the Marquis of Carabas was the title that the clever cat gave his poor master. The king was pleased with the gift. The cat went to the forest the next day. In this manner, he presented him with rare animals for months. He was given a lot of gold and silver, which he then brought to his master. "I have brought you, sir, rabbits, which my noble lord, the Marquis of Carabas, has asked me to present to your majesty from him." "Good, very good. Hey, talking cat, tell your master that I thank him." "Thank you, your majesty." One day, the cat heard that the king and his beautiful daughter were going out. He ran home and said to his master, "If you follow my advice, you will live a much more comfortable life. All you have to do is go and bathe yourself in the river at the place I show you. Then leave the rest to me." Because he already trusted him, the youngest son did what the cat advised, without knowing why. "A handsome guy! A handsome guy!" "There's an intruder! There's an intruder! Rah!
Meow meow.
"Master, it's urgent. If you want to change your life, follow me and go to the river." Okay. Right now? While the youngest was bathing, the king's coach passed by, and the cat began to cry out, "Help! Help!" The king recognized him, so he stopped immediately. The cat told the king that while his master was bathing, a thief stole his clothes. In truth, the cat had hidden the clothes under a large stone. The king immediately ordered his officers to fetch the best suit for the Lord Marquis of Carabas. When the youngest was dressed in the fine clothes, He looked like a real marquis. The king then allowed him to get into the coach and take a ride with them. The princess liked him at first sight. "Your Majesty, here is my lord, the Marquis of Carabas." "I am the Marquis of Carabas. It is my great pleasure to meet you and your daughter." "Wow! Is this the master of that special cat?" In the meantime, the cat ran on ahead of the carriage and reached a green meadow where farmers were cutting the grass. He said to them, "My good fellows, if you do not tell the king that the meadow you are mowing belongs to my lord Marquis of Carabas, you will be punished." Frightened by his strange and impressive appearance, when the king drove by and asked them who owned the meadow, the farmers answered all together, just as the cat had ordered them. "My good fellows, if you do not tell the king that the meadow you are mowing belongs to my lord Marquis of Carabas, you will be punished." "Tell me, who does this meadow belong to?" "Your Majesty, it belongs to my lord, Marquis of Carabas." The cat still ran ahead and reached a vast field of barley, where there were more farmers busy at work. He said to them, "Good people, if you do not tell the king that this field of barley belongs to the Marquis of Carabas, you will be punished." The cat's threats had scared the farmers, so they followed what he said. The king was astonished by the vast estates of the Lord Marquis of Carabas. He was very pleased. "If you do not tell the king that this field of barley belongs to the Lord Marquis of Carabas, you will be punished." "Who does this field of barley belong to?" "It belongs to the Lord Marquis of Carabas, Your Majesty." The cat came at last to a huge castle, the lord of which was a wicked ogre with a lot of magic. He owned the vast meadow and barley field the cat had just passed by. The cat paid his respects to him and said in a serious voice, "I have been told that you can change yourself into any animal you want. You can, for example, change yourself into a lion or an elephant." "I can. It's an easy thing for me. Watch this," said the ogre very quickly, and he instantly changed into a lion. The master cat was very terrified. "What is your business here, imp?" "I have heard about you for a long time, so now I expect to see your power to change yourself into any creature you like." "Oh, not a big deal. Keep your eyes open." That's amazing. Do you know how wonderful I am? That's amazing. After a while, the ogre returned to his natural form. The cat reassured himself and said to the ogre, "Awesome, but I wonder if you have the power to change yourself into a little animal, like a mouse. That must be impossible." "Impossible? Oh, as easy as pie. You will see," cried the ogre. And in a moment he changed himself into a mouse and began to run about the floor. Immediately, the cat fell upon him and ate him up. So, the wicked ogre was gone. Great, but I can't believe that you can change yourself into the smallest of animals. For example, a rat or a mouse. That's quite impossible. Impossible? That's very easy. You will see. Stupid ogre. By this time, the king had arrived at the castle. The cat ran to the gate and said, "Welcome, your majesty, to the castle of the Marquis of Carabas." Entering the stately castle, the king was overwhelmed by bright rooms full of treasures. He was very pleased, and his daughter, the beautiful princess, had fallen madly in love with the youngest. The king said, "It will be your own fault, my lord Marquis, if you do not become my son-in-law." Of course, the youngest was overjoyed to accept the honor that his majesty conferred upon him. The two were married that very same day, and they lived happily with the cat forever and ever. That's the end of the story. Do you see that our cat is very wise and clever? Have you ever had your own pet? I hope you will have lovely, smart, and loyal friends like this Master Cat. Goodbye, and see you next time. That's the end of the story. Goodbye. Hi, kids. Do you know where snowflakes come from? You should follow the diligent older sister and the lazy younger sister in the well-known Grimm's fairy tale called Mother Holle. Hey, let's find the way to the magic house of Mother Holle to get the answer to this question. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Wow, it's great! Tisk, tisk, tisk. Where does this tar come from? It's so sticky. Once upon a time, there was a widow who had 2 daughters. The older was charming and hardworking. The younger was ugly and slothful. However, the mother only loved the younger, as she was her own daughter, and the mother mistreated the older, since she was her stepdaughter. The older had to do all the housework. Day by day, she sat by the well spinning. She had to work so hard her finger bled, and the blood fell onto the spindle. Wow, it is tasty! Ouch! It hurts! One day, unfortunately for her, she dropped the spindle into the well. She ran home crying to tell her stepmother about her misfortune. But her stepmother scolded her and said unkindly, "You dropped it into the well, so you have to go down into the well to fetch it out." You dropped it into the well, so you have to go down into the well to fetch it out. Mom, the well is so deep. How could I fetch the spindle out? The girl ran back to the well, but she did not know what to do. Too scared to go back to her mother, she decided to jump into the water to find the spindle. But she fainted away after jumping into the water. It was very strange, but when she woke up, she discovered that she was in a beautiful meadow full of sunshine and countless fabulous flowers. She went through the meadow and came to a baker's oven, which was full of bread. Suddenly, the loaf said to her, "Hey, girl, please take us out. We shall be burnt to a cinder." The girl came near, took all the loaves out. "Hey, girl, please take us out, or we shall be burnt to a cinder. Take us out, take us out, take us out, take us out, take us out." "Okay, let me help you. I will take all of you out." She continued traveling and came to an apple tree, which was full of apples. The apple tree called to her, "Hey, girl, please shake me, shake me. My apples are all ripe." She shook the tree, and the apples fell like rain until there was no more apples left on the tree. Next, she gathered them carefully and kept going. "Hey, girl, please shake me. My apples are all ripe."
Shake us, shake us, shake us, shake us, shake us, please.
"Okay, I will shake you." Finally, she came to a little house. She saw an old woman with big teeth. She was very scared and started to run away. However, the old woman called her back and said, "Don't be afraid. I am Mother Holle. You can stay here with me. If you do the housework for me properly, you will have a happy life. You just tighten my bed carefully and shake it thoroughly, so that the feathers can fly out and create snowflakes down to the world." The old woman spoke kindly, so the girl calmed down and agreed to work for her. "Hey girl, don't be scared. Come here. I am Mother Holle." "Good morning, madam." She was hard-working, and the old woman was happy about it. When she tidied the old woman's bed, she tried her best to shake it, so that the feathers flew down and became many snowflakes. The old woman also treated her kindly. She gave the girl a comfortable life with tasty foods and never spoke angrily to the girl. "Girl, let's take a rest and have a snack." "It smells good. Thank you very much. I've already done my job, madam." However, after a time, she was homesick and felt sad. She told Mother Holle that she wanted to go home. Mother Holle agreed, and she took her to a wide gateway. When the gate opened, a shower of gold fell upon her, and the gold clung to her. Mother Holle said, "That is the reward for all your hard work." Then she gave her the spindle which she had dropped into the well. After that, the gate was closed. "Girl, this is the reward for all your hard work."
It's great.
"Thank you very much. You stay well. Goodbye." When the girl entered the courtyard, the rooster perched on the well called out, "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Your golden daughter has come home!" Do you know why her stepmother and her young sister gave the older sister a warm welcome? Because the older daughter's body was covered with gold, and of course she became rich. After listening to the whole story the older daughter told her, the stepmother was so greedy that she wanted her own daughter to have a good fortune like this. Therefore, she forced the younger daughter to sit by the well and spin. The younger had to prick her fingers and let her blood fall onto the spindle, and then jumped into the well like her sister. Hi, Mom. I found the spindle. It's here. Oh, sweetie, I don't want it anymore. Come in. I will help you to take the gold off of you. Oh, my sister, where did you go? I really missed you. How come you are covered with gold? You must tell me your story. The younger sister finally came to the beautiful meadow, and she followed the path. When she passed the baker's oven, the loaf called, "Hey, girl, please take us out, or we will be burnt to a cinder." However, the lazy girl did not want her hands and her clothes to get dirty, so she ignored what the loaf said and kept going. "Hey, girl, please take us out, or we shall be burnt to a cinder. Take us out, take us out, take us out, take us out, take us out." Huh? No, you could damage my new clothes. After a while, she came to the apple tree. The apple tree called her. "Hey, girl, shake me, please. My apples are all ripe." However, she was afraid that those apples could drop onto her head, so she kept walking and ignored the apple tree. "Hey, girl, please shake me. My apples are all ripe."
Shake us, shake us, shake us, shake us, shake us, please.
"No, no! You can fall on my head and ruin my charming hairstyle." At last, the younger sister came to Mother Holle's house. She was not scared when she saw her with the big teeth, as she already knew about that. She asked to wait for Mother Holle immediately. On the first day, she worked hard and listened to what Mother Holle said as she thought about the gold she would receive. But day by day, she went back to being a lazy person. She did not prepare the bed for Mother Holle and did not shape the bed to let the feathers fly out to make snowflakes. That really drove Mother Holle mad. "Girl, why don't you shake the bed? It is a long time since we have seen the snow." "Hang on a second, Mother Holle. I am eating." After a while, Mother Holle led the younger sister to the wide gate. But the golden rain did not fall as she was passing through. It was just a great bucket full of tar pouring over her. Mother Holle said, "That's in return for your services," and she shut the gate. The younger sister went home covered with tar, and the rooster on the well called out, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, your dirty and sticky daughter has come home." Ever since that day, the tar stuck to her as long as she lived. "Oh my goodness, sweetie, how could this happen to you?" "Mommy, help me, it's so sticky." "Wow, how ugly and dirty she is." Hello, kids! You are playing an interactive story app by BH Media. What is the color of a normal goose? It's white or gray, isn't it? However, there's a goose made of pure gold in the world of fairy tales. Let's make friends with this special goose in the funny story called The Golden Goose.
What?
Once upon a time, there was a man who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was called Simpleton, and was despised, laughed at, and neglected on every occasion.
Brothers, let me help you.
What can you do? You just bring trouble. Brother, let him do it. I think he can carry some sacks of flour.
Brothers, let me help you.
One day, the eldest son wanted to go to the forest to cut wood. Before he set off, his mother gave him a delicious pancake and a bottle of wine, so that he might not suffer from hunger or thirst. As he entered the forest, he met an old gray man who was hungry and thirsty. The man begged for a bit of cake and a drink of wine, but was rebuffed. The eldest son went on, leaving the man standing there. When the eldest son started to chop a tree down, he soon made a false stroke, and the axe cut him in the arm. He had to go home and have it bound up. And this was the little gray man's doing.
Hello. Please give me a bit of cake out of your pocket, and let me have a drink of your wine. I am so hungry and thirsty.
Give you my cake and my wine? I haven't got any. Be off with you. Ouch, Mom! It hurts!
Afterwards, the second son went into the wood, and his mother gave him, like the eldest, a pancake and a bottle of wine. He also met the little old gray man, who begged for a bit of cake and a drink of wine. But the second son spoke out plainly, saying, "What I give you will be taken away from myself. Be off!" And leaving the little man standing there, he went off. His punishment soon came. As he was chopping away at the tree, he hit himself in the leg so severely that he had to be carried home.
Yeah, this tree is fine.
My foot! It hurts, Mom! Mom!
Then Simpleton went to the forest. Seeing the old man, he shared with him the burnt cake and sour beer given by his mother. As he took out his cake, it became a sweet one, and his sour beer became good wine. Afterwards, the little man said,
As you have such a kind heart, and share what you have so willingly, I'll give you a reward. There stands an old tree. Cut it down, and you'll find something at the roots.
The old man then left, and Simpleton went and cut down the tree as he had been told. When it fell, he saw, sitting among the roots, a goose with feathers of pure gold.
Cut down the old tree over there, and you'll find a special thing I give you.
Something special? Thank you very much. I'll go and find it right now. Wow, a golden goose!
Simpleton took the goose to an inn to pass the night. The host of the inn had 3 daughters, who had never seen such a wonderful goose, and longed to have at least one of its feathers. When Simpleton went out, the eldest daughter instantly seized the goose by its wing, but as she did so, her finger and hand remained stuck tightly to it.
Is this goose made of pure gold? I'll pluck out one of its feathers to check.
Ah! Why do my hand and fingers stick tightly to it?
Soon after came the second sister with the same idea of plucking out one of the golden feathers for herself. But as soon as she touched her sister, she found that her hand stuck fast to her too. At last, the third sister came in. The others screamed out, "Stay away! Stay away!" But she didn't understand why she should stay away. "The others are there," she thought. "I may as well be there too," and ran to them. But when she reached her sisters, she remained stuck fast to them. So they had to spend the night with the goose. "Stay away! Stay away! Are you plucking out its feathers? I also want to have some. I'm stuck to the golden goose. What can I do now?" "Stay away! Stay away!" "Ah, I know, you're stealing its golden feathers." "I don't need the golden feathers anymore." "I don't need the golden feathers anymore." The next morning, Simpleton took the goose and went away, without troubling himself about the girls that hung on to it. The three had always to run after him, left and right, wherever his legs carried him. Then they met a parson, who cried out, "Shame on you, girls, running after a man through the fields like this!" He seized the youngest by the hand to pull her back, but as he touched her, he also became fixed. A few minutes later, a sexton came by and called out, "Master Parson, where are you going? Don't forget that we have a christening today." And he seized the parson's sleeve, and he was also held fast to it. "Shame on you, girls, running after a man through the fields like this." "Oh, why does my hand stick fast to her?" "Master Parson, where are you going? Don't forget that we have a christening today. My hand, what happened to my hand?" As the five tramped on, one after another, two peasants with their hoes came up from the fields. The parson cried out to them and begged them to come and set him and the sexton free. But no sooner had they touched the sexton than they had to follow on too. And now there were 7 following Simpleton and the goose. "Please, set me and the sexton free." "Let me pull you out." 1, 2, 3. "Oh, I'm stuck too. What should we do now?" "Uh-oh, I'm also stuck fast." Simpleton made his way to the palace of the king, whose daughter had never laughed. So the king had said that whoever could make her laugh should have her in marriage. When Simpleton heard this, he went with his goose and the 7 people in tow. The sight was so ridiculous that the moment the princess saw it, she burst out laughing as if she would never stop. After this, Simpleton asked to have her for his wife. But the king didn't like him for a son-in-law and made all manner of excuses. He said Simpleton must first bring a man who could drink a cellar of wine.
Quick march! Left, right, left, right.
Ouch! It hurts!
Your Majesty, I made your daughter laugh. Please let me marry her.
If you want to marry my daughter, you must bring me a man who can drink a cellar of wine.
Ouch! It hurts!
Simpleton thought of the little gray man who would be able to help him. So he went into the forest, and in the same place where he had cut down the tree,
he saw a man with a very sorrowful face. Simpleton asked him why he looked so sorrowful, and he answered, "I have such a great thirst. I've drunk a cask of wine already, but it was just like a drop of water on a hot stone."
I can help you, said Simpleton. Just come with me and you'll be satisfied.
I'm so thirsty that I could drink up a cellar of wine now.
Great! Go with me and you'll have enough.
Great! Let's go! Ugh, don't push me! Ugh, don't push me! Oh, be careful! I'm nearly falling! Simpleton took him to the king's cellar. The man opened the casks one after another, and drank, and before a day was over, he had drunk up the whole cellar. Simpleton asked for his bride, but the king was annoyed at the thought of giving his child to a silly man, so he made a new condition. He told Simpleton to find someone able to eat a whole mountain of bread.
Good wine! Good wine! Your Majesty, I met your demand. Please let me marry your daughter.
Not yet. You must find a man who can eat a mountain of bread. Simpleton didn't think long, but went straight into the forest. He met a man who was tying up his body with a strap and making an awful face. I've eaten a whole bakehouse of rolls, but my stomach remains empty, and I must tie myself up if I am not to die of hunger, said the man. Simpleton was glad of this, and he led him to the king's palace. The king ordered all the flour in the kingdom to be made into bread and piled up in a huge mountain. The man from the forest began to eat, and in one day the whole mountain had disappeared. Simpleton asked for his bride the third time. However, the king found one more excuse and said that if Simpleton could bring him a ship that could sail on land or on water, then he would marry his daughter. Whoa! A mountain of bread! How lucky I am!
Your Majesty, could I marry your daughter now?
If you can bring me a ship that can sail on land and on water, then you can, without any further conditions, marry my daughter. Oh, I'm so full. Simpleton went straight to the forest. There he met the little old gray man, who said, "It was I who sent the men to eat and drink, and I'll also give you the ship, and all because you once were kind to me." Then the old man gave Simpleton the ship that could sail on land and on water. Because you are kind-hearted, I'll certainly help you.
You're telling the truth? Thank you so much.
When the king saw the ship, he knew he could no longer refuse to give Simpleton his daughter in marriage. The wedding was held with great splendor. After the king passed away, Simpleton inherited the whole kingdom and lived happily with his wife. Simpleton was lucky because he wasn't selfish like his two brothers. Instead, he was kind-hearted and willing to help other people. You should follow the shining example of the kind Simpleton. Do many good things and help those who are in difficulties. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and see you again.
Once upon a time, there was a couple who had 7 sons. They had wished for a daughter, but they hadn't had one yet. Long after that, the wife gave birth to a girl. They were very happy, but the child was sickly and small. The father asked his sons to get some water from the stream to christen his daughter. "Look, our daughter is so lovely."
But she is sickly and small. She has to be given an emergency baptism.
I'll teach her fowling. No, she prefers fishing. I'll teach her fishing.
Because each of them wanted to be the first to fill it, the brothers accidentally dropped the jug into the stream. They didn't know what to do, and none of them dared to go home. When they still didn't return, the father grew impatient. He cried out in anger,
They have certainly forgotten it for some game, the wicked boys. I wish they were all turned into ravens.
Just after he spoke those words, his sons immediately turned into 7 whole black ravens and flew away. The father was very sorry, but he couldn't take back the curse.
The jug dropped. What should we do now? It's impossible. There's no way to take it back.
Almost got it.
Heave-ho!
Go for it.
They have certainly forgotten it for some game, the wicked boys. I wish they were all turned into ravens.
The parents were very sad at the loss of their 7 sons, but they were still somewhat comforted as their daughter grew strong and every day became more beautiful. For a long time, she didn't know that she had had 7 brothers. One day, she accidentally heard some people saying that she was to blame for her 7 brothers' misfortune. The girl became sad. She went to her parents and asked them if she indeed had had brothers and what had happened to them. Her parents could no longer keep the secret, but said that it had been heaven's fate and that her birth hadn't been the real cause.
That little girl looks so beautiful.
Yes, she looks beautiful, but because of her, her brothers were cursed.
Dad, I have brothers, don't I? Where are they now?
Your brothers are lost. It was heaven's fate, not your fault.
However, the girl took it to heart daily. She was determined to find her brothers and rescue them from the curse. She left her home secretly and took nothing but a little ring as a remembrance from her parents, a loaf of bread, a little jug of water, and a little chair for when she got tired. She walked on and on, far, far to the end of the world. She came to the sun, but it was too hot. She hastily ran to the moon, but it was much too cold. The girl came to the stars, which were kind and good to her, and each one sat on its own little chair. The morning star arose, gave her a chicken bone, and said, "This chicken bone will help you open the glass mountain where your brothers are living." Good evening.
Oh, what a beautiful girl. Oh, she also has a little chair like me.
You've come here alone? You're quite brave.
I give you this little bone, brave girl. It'll help you open the glass mountain. You'll find your brothers there.
Oh, it's great. Thank you very much.
The girl thanked the stars, wrapped the bone carefully in a cloth, and went on her way again. She walked on, and finally she came to the glass mountain. She opened the cloth to take out the bone, but it was empty. She had lost the gift of the good stars. She took a knife, cut off one of her little fingers, and put it into the door. Fortunately, the door opened, and a dwarf appeared. The girl told him that she was looking for her brothers, the 7 ravens. The dwarf then said,
"The Lord Ravens aren't at home, but if you want to wait here until they return, step inside."
Good morning. I'm looking for my brothers, the 7 ravens.
"Oh, really? The Lord Ravens aren't at home, but if you want to wait here until they return, step inside."
The dwarf carried in the raven's dinner on 7 plates and in 7 cups. The girl ate a bit from each plate and took a sip from each cup. In the last cup, she dropped the ring that she had brought with her. Suddenly, she heard a whirring and rushing sound in the air, and the dwarf said,
"Ah, the Lord Ravens are flying home now."
"I'll drop the ring in this cup. If they are my brothers, they'll recognize me."
"Ah, the Lord Ravens are flying home now."
Then the ravens came. They looked for their plates and cups to eat and drink. One after another, each of them said, "Who has been eating from my plate? Who has been drinking from my cup?" When the 7th raven came to the bottom of his cup, he saw the ring. He realized that the ring was from their parents, and he said, "God grant that our sister may be here, and then we'll be free."
"What's this?
Where is it?"
It's our parents' ring. God grant that our sister might be here."
Really? God blesses us. We'll be set free soon. When the girl heard the wish behind the door, she came forth. Immediately, the ravens turned into her 7 brothers. They hugged and kissed one another and went home happily. That's the end of the story. It has a happy ending, doesn't it? Although the girl was little, she herself dared to rescue her brothers. The girl could overcome all difficulties and challenges because she had a brave heart and endless love for her brothers. We hope that you'll be always good and brave and get on well with your brothers and sisters. Goodbye, and see you again. Oh, my brothers, I've been looking forward to seeing you.
Our sister broke the curse.
How marvelous it is.
Let's come back to our parents.
How excellent you are.
How beautiful our younger sister is.